Well, every theme park or roller coaster enthusiast has their favorite roller coaster, the one above all. And then have you ever wondered what that really says about you? And some people especially like those big floating B&M hyper coasters. Well, they really just want to be out in space. And then you also have that 60-plus-year-old dude who says that old wooden roller coaster out there is just the best in the world, but it really isn't. And this is the official part 2 of what your favorite roller coaster really says about you. And before making people mad about their favorite roller coaster, this is just for fun, entertainment and banter. And then please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And now let's get into this video. The first roller coaster we need to talk about is Wildcats Revenge at Hersheypark. And I really think that Wildcats Revenge is a great RMC roller coaster, but not the best. What I really like about Wildcats Revenge is actually that the pacing keeps getting better and better during the whole ride layout. But unfortunately, the only reason Wildcats Revenge is your number 1 is because this is the last RMC you have ridden. Yes, you're very enthusiastic about this roller coaster, but also very recency biased. And well, you're probably the type of person who loves shiny new things and won't stop talking about the last ride they had on Wildcats Revenge, and you probably refresh RCDB weekly and post these hot takes on Reddit or Discord. Now the next roller coaster we need to talk about is Panfarian, also known as Intimidator 305. And this ride really is one of those polarizing roller coasters out there because you don't really have that much airtime. It mainly focuses on pacing and intensity. This ride just crushes you with positive G-forces and also a whole lot of whip on these high-speed turns. And well, if Pantherian really is your number 1 roller coaster, you're probably a thrill seeker. And you also like the thrills outside the theme park, and that just means you're driving way too fast in your car. And well, you just enjoy intensity without the fluff. You don't really care about airtime, you want raw G-forces and aggressive pacing. And I actually think that you might be more of a ride warrior than a typical roller coaster nerd. And now just be careful about the thrills that you seek outside the theme park. Now the next roller coaster we need to talk about is Toutatis at Parc Asterix. And Toutatis is overall a very lengthy intimate LSM coaster with many different launches, and this is where you have this lengthy swing launch section with the stall, you have awesome airtime and the top hat. And after the top hat you have a highly paced section with different inversions and airtime moments, which is awesome. And if this ride is really your number 1, you're just like the French people, opinionated, confident and possibly argumentative. And well, Toutatis really is great, but nowhere near the best roller coasters in the world. And even though you haven't really ridden Gotham City Escape, you still think that Toutatis is better, even though that's wrong, and you wanna die with this opinion on the Toutatis top hat. You have probably been in many comment section fights defending this ride, but just please move on, you stubborn European. And now let's talk about Voltron at Europa Park. And well, Voltron really delivers in every aspect, and this is by far one of the best roller coasters in Europe. And yes, everything about Voltron is just great, from the queue line to the ride experience itself. This ride really combines everything into a lengthy ride experience with launches, airtime moments and awesome inversions. And if this ride really is your favorite roller coaster, I can't really complain, you're just a reasonable guy. You're probably balanced, future focused, analytical, and you're probably obsessed with theming, innovation and engineering. And yes, you already know that the Outer Bank airtime hill is the best element on Voltron. And now let's talk about one of the most iconic rides out there, and this is where we have El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. And yes, we already know that this big intimate prefab is known for those iconic camelback hills, but unfortunately in the recent years it hasn't really been the best for El Toro. Well, it's gone quite rough and rattly, but you still think it's the best in the world. And yeah, we all know that you're still fantasizing about the good old days where this coaster was actually smooth to ride. And in terms of personality traits, you're quite hardcore, loyal and pain tolerant, because you've probably had your ribcage rattled and called it charm. You respect legends and don't mind the rough edges. Well, you still call El Toro the GOAT, even though it breaks down a bit and it's also quite rough. And now let's talk about a quite interesting coaster, and this is where we got Lightning Rod at Dollywood. And well, this RMC coaster has really been through many rough years. The ride once had that awesome launch system at the start, but unfortunately now we have the slow chain lift, and now the quad down is just world class, but everything else is just mid to great. And if this ride is still your number 1, you're still dreaming about those days where it had that launch, you're crying in your bed waiting for it to get that launch back. The only thing I can say right here is keep dreaming, keep dreaming. And I'm really sorry Canopy Coaster, because I really like your videos and we mostly agree on every roller coaster, but unfortunately that opinion about Lightning Rod, ooh. And now for very important reasons I still have to remind you people that this is just for fun, banter and entertainment. And speaking of fun, let's talk about Taron at Phantasialand. And this ride might be one of the most iconic intimate LSM launch coasters out there. And as most of us know, Taron is a twisty and lengthy double launch coaster by Intamin. And what makes this coaster great great is that it flies around this heavily themed Klugheim area, and Taran's second launch is just known for having that very aggressive and loud sound. And I hate to break it to you, but that second launch sound is way more aggressive than the ride experience itself. And if Taran really is your number one roller coaster, I think you're visiting Phantasialand way too often. And now I hate to break it to you, but I know behind that roller coaster list with Taran as number one, we have a German right here. And yeah, I know you're reasonable and over 30 also, but this ride is just great, lengthy, but it's just a family thrill coaster. And yeah, I also know that Phantasialand is your home park. Now we're also staying in Europe yet again with the next coaster, and this is where we got Shambhala at Portaventura World. Now for every European roller coaster enthusiast right here, I'm speaking to you because I know Shambhala was the first big floater airtime king that you tried. And unfortunately, all you Americans, you have many B&M hyper coasters, but not the best, because the best one is right here. And this might be the only respectable hyper coaster out there to have as your number one. And yeah, I already know you want to be an astronaut, but you're just a floater airtime B&M loving nerd. Well, you don't really care about it being repetitive, you just want the airtime to hit. And I still think we have a great person right here, calm and collected. And yet again, boo-hoo all you Americans over there. And now let's fly all the way over to you Americans yet again, and this is where we got a wicked Cyclone at Six Flags New England. And this is where we got that medium-sized RMC roller coaster with a pretty lengthy layout in my opinion. And unfortunately, you just have to face these facts I'm saying right now. This ride is not better than Twisted Timbers or Untamed. But now wait a minute, I'm not gonna completely destroy your mood, because it's still an awesome roller coaster and perhaps a high tier RMC. And now be serious, if Wicked Cyclone really is your number one, I know Six Flags New England is your home park. And yeah, I know you're quite defensive, loyal to a fall, and you got this underdog complex. Well, you're probably the my home park is actually good person, and probably overhyped this coaster once, got called out, and now you feel the need to prove it's elite. And now just like Anakin Skywalker, Wicked Cyclone is not going to be a part of the Jedi Council. And well, the only thing I can say is move on, move on. Now the final roller coaster I have on the list is quite polarizing, and this is where we got Skyrush at Hersheypark. And Skyrush is overall that awesome intimate wing coaster with the amazing first drop and these intense airtime moments. And I actually rode this roller coaster 1 year ago with the new restraints, and yes, the first drop is intense, the airtime moment after is also great, but after that, and if I really need to be mean about this coaster, you could argue that there are two other coasters in Hersheypark that are better. Well, I know you love airtime and intensity, but you're very forgetful. And I have to say this, yes, the first drop is amazing and the airtime moment after that is awesome, but after that the ride isn't that great. Yeah, you're probably between 15 and 25 years of age, but you keep forgetting the rest of this roller coaster's layout. Now, I really want to know your thoughts in the comments below. Was one of these roller coasters really your favorite? And now please consider subscribing for more theme park and roller coaster related content. And then, as I always say, in the end of the day, I'm always gonna say bye bye.